One thing that Utah is known for are its great outdoors. From red rock desert landscapes to majestic mountain peaks and fertile river valleys, we have it all. And there's not much I like to do more than to grab my camera and hike into a place where I know I'm going to see a breathtaking sunset. My buddy and fellow photographer from Pictureline, Dave Ward, shares the same passion for landscape photography that I do. So we often find ourselves on the same rocky ridges, clicking away during the final light of the day. Having the right lens for the occasion is important, as we all know, and when I found myself one evening wanting to make a panorama of some terrific craggy peaks, Dave introduced me to Canon's new wide-angle zoom, the RF 14-35 F4 L IS USM. It's not often a photographer will give up his lens for a friend, but Dave is generous to a fault, and he let me spend some time with this beautiful new lens. Not only did I notice how light and compact it was, it weighs just over a pound, I appreciated how quickly and quietly it focused as I created the images I was hoping for. Another great thing about Utah is my home, Salt Lake City. It's an eclectic little city with lots to see and do, and I enjoy walking its streets and capturing images that make this place so unique. I was impressed with the RF 14-35's lack of distortion, even at 14 millimeters. My subjects stayed straight and true, and the images represented what I was seeing with my eye. I was amazed at how much I could fit into my frame without having to back up and shoot from a distance. Architectural photography can be tricky in that sometimes there really is no room to back away and compose a shot. So having a lens this wide that doesn't require a lot of adjustment in post was a real treat. Another feature I appreciated is the lens's close focusing ability. At 7.9 inches, I was able to get in close into those small subjects that still required a wide angle of view. And with a built-in optical image stabilizer that provides 5.5 stops of shake correction, I shot almost everything handheld, producing very sharp images every time.
I've been really impressed with the 14-35, especially at 14 millimeters, with its lack of distortion. I found it great for architecture, for landscapes, for trees, for fences. It's really sharp in the corners, in the center. It just holds itself really well.
Street photography was a joy with this lens as it traveled well, and I never felt like it was a burden hanging around my neck. And the bright, constant F4 aperture allowed me to shoot on streets where the sun wasn't always shining. The next day, I made my way into one of my favorite canyons, where a crystal clear river was flowing over smooth granite boulders. The air was cool and the bright sun made for some tricky exposures. Another great feature of the RF 14-35 is that it accepts 77mm filters, and a graduated ND was exactly what I needed for this scene. I also thought I would slow the water down with a 10-stop ND, and it was so nice to use my compact circular filters that kept my gear to a minimum. Scrambling up a trail and climbing onto a giant granite rock wasn't a problem at all, as my setup was very small and easy to carry. Between camera and lens, I felt like I had an ideal combination for shooting those landscapes I love so much. Dave and I made our way into an aspen grove, and I was amazed at how straight the trees all stood in my photographs. These are some of my favorite trees, and the RF 14-35 was the perfect lens to capture them with.
The 14-35 finishes off Canon's F4 series of lenses for their mirrorless camera. All F4, meaning when I zoom them, they can remain at that F4 aperture setting throughout the entire zoom range on all three of those lenses. And they're really affordable. They're priced right with great image quality. So wonderful series of lenses.
In addition to my circular filters, I was able to use a standard-sized filter kit as well. And as the final light of day lit up the peaks before us, Dave and I couldn't help but smile at the incredible surroundings we found ourselves in. The trees, rocks, and clouds above absolutely glowed with all the colors the setting sun could offer. And it reminded me of why I'm a photographer and how much I enjoy creating a photograph.